How
it
did
could
you
be a
even
different
come up with
approach.
the name? I'm curious. How did you come up
Oh,
with the name? You're gonna tell me, well, one day my co-founder having a lunch at Panda Express, we thought, hey, you know what? That's what happens. Boom, here's a name. Like,
what's that? Like, why do we work 16 hours a day? Like, why? What are we trying to achieve? More and more of the commerce is going to transition to the devices that surround us, for better or for worse.
welcome back to another episode of the Dan Lok Show, where I bring you fascinating, successful, interesting founders. And today I have a gentleman with me. I was just sharing with him. I'm actually a customer, a long-time customer of this particular platform. Now, maybe you're a customer as well, because I know a lot of my listeners. I mean, you are entrepreneur, you're a salespeople, the CEO of PandaDoc, right? First of all, a round of applause. welcome, Mikita. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dan.
Share with us, when did you start PandaDoc, and what inspired you to even start the business in the first place?
Sure. We started a little more than 10 years ago. We started with a very different product, and at the time, I lived back in Belarus. And my co-founder and I wanted to build a product company with customers all around the world. We wanted our solution, our product, our software to get in the hands of as many people as possible. Not in just a small country where we lived at the time, but like globally. Yeah, globally. We wanted to talk to people from different parts of the world we have never been to or never even heard of, and that was the inspiration. And we also wanted to learn something new, something very interesting. Software as a service seemed to be that area we wanted to learn about. We wanted to make a positive impact on the market, on our customers, on prospective customers, on employees, and just on the world in general. And then wanted to have fun, and running a product software company seemed like a lot of fun at the time. That was the inspiration.
What was the idea day one that you're going to create a kind of a document software, or was it something else then you pivot into what you have today?
Our business story is something pivoting into something, then pivoting into something, and pivoting into something else, and yada, yada, yada. About 15 years ago, I got a wonderful opportunity to come to America, and I started building websites for people, for businesses. And from web design, I transitioned into building software for web designers, which is where I partnered up with my PandaDoc's co-founder, Sergey. From building software for web designers, we pivoted into building software to help web developers, designers, software developers to build proposals and quotes, because that was one of those internal problems that gave us a lot of troubles. And from that, we pivoted into just expanding beyond proposals and quotes and beyond just web designers and web developers, onto helping any kind of businesses and any kind of organizations to generate contracts, transactional documents, contracts, forms, quotes and proposals, get them signed, filled out, and so on and so forth. And along the way, we made a lot of mistakes, and as you make mistakes, you learn.
What are some of the mistakes that, looking back, that you have made that you could share with our audience or entrepreneurs who are growing their businesses?
Oh my God. Well, the biggest mistake, which I made a lot back in the day, was to assume that I'd know what kind of outcome this or that project, this or that strategy is gonna have, and like, because in most of the cases you don't really know, and it's better to try to test things out and find out. And the quicker you can test and on lesser budget, the better it is in some cases. One of the other mistakes, God, we made many. Like, name a topic. I'm happy to dive in. It's like whatever side of business or entrepreneurship you look like, there's going to be a bunch of those.
Okay, let's take us back at the beginning first. This is good. I love where this is going. So in the beginning, were you funding the business yourself, or did you take on investors early?
Well, my web design business was funded with my paychecks, and
bootstrapping.
Then and then our web development business was funded again through just doing projects for other folks. So we bootstrapped this company, and we saved up a little bit of cash as a result of it, and then we sold that company and started our first product company, which we also bootstrapped, and got to break even, which is when we raised our first round of financing.
Yes.
Back in the day, it was unreal. You know, it felt like a crazy idea that for some software thing in the internet out of Belarus, we can raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yet it happened. We got lucky, and in the retrospective, I totally invest. If I was able to know the future, I'd love to be one of those investors. But you know, like back in the day, it was so unclear that the product is going to grow, and the customer base is going to grow, and things are going to turn out the way they turned out. But yeah, what I want to say 7 years ago, we did our first round of financing.
Okay. And how much you raised back then?
$650,000.
Okay. It's not okay. That's good.
About a year later, we raised 400 more.
Okay.
And then about a year later than that, we did our first price round, which was $3.5 million.
Got it.
And then we raised 13, and then we raised more, and blah 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 blah.
And currently, how many employees you have within PandaDoc? How big?
Close to 500.
500. Yeah. And what's the, if you could share, like, what's the revenue currently now with PandaDoc?
It's in tens of millions of dollars.
Got it.
As much as I can say.
Okay, that's cool. And what's the plan that you have? Are you thinking of how many years grow it? Like, what's the vision that you have?
Actually, you know what? I should answer differently, as advised by someone on our marketing team.
Sure.
We raised less than the company's revenues. Let's put it that way.
Got it. So, and then what's the vision for the next few years?
Keep growing. We're in a very, very large market.
Yes.
Pretty much any business under the sun has contracts and like proposals and forms to sign, and we turn that process into a paperless endeavor, and a lot more efficient endeavor. So keep growing. I mean, there's so much to do for us in the market within the product that boy, I don't know. I don't know where is the limit.
Mhm. And in the beginning, how did you get traction for PandaDoc? What are some of the marketing strategies that you've implemented that worked, and what are some things that you've tried that didn't work?
Oh, there you go. We get into mistakes.
Hmm.
The product we had prior to PandaDoc, we've built out of our internal need, and we had that idea that we know what we need to build, how it should look, and what should we charge? We should charge.
Yes.
All of those assumptions turned out to be wrong. We built a free version of the product and thought, well, we're going to add ability to pay for it, and people are going to go ahead and swipe their credit card.
Yes.
That did not happen. As we were getting customer feedback as we were building that product, we were getting feedback from folks that were not going to pay us ever. And at some point, we used up almost all of our savings and kind of built the wrong thing. Not entirely wrong, but there were parts of it that were not quite right. So we learned the hard way that it's important to spend as much time as possible with your prospective customers, even though you feel like you are one of those customers. You don't know everything. I mean, I didn't know everything. My co-founder didn't know everything, and we burned a lot of cash because we did not have enough face time with prospective customers. Working on PandaDoc and designing PandaDoc,
how did you even come up with the name? I'm curious. How did you come up with the name?
You want a true story or a marketing story?
Oh, come on, give me the true story, man. Give me the true story.
The true story. All right, we played in a marketplace with a lot of corporate and quite boring sound software companies, and we wanted to be memorable. We've aimed at small to mid-sized businesses as our target customer group, and brand recognition and memorability is hugely important when you don't rely on a large sales force that goes kind of like door to door.
Yes.
So we wanted to have a brand that it just kind of like markets itself and is memorable. So in the software world, that was done before, and we admired a company called MailChimp.
Oh, MailChimp, yes, yes.
Yeah, so they have a monkey in their brand, and
so you just thought of like a panda, seriously?
Yeah, and well, there's MailChimp, and there's SurveyMonkey, and we thought, monkeys are overused. Let's come up with something different.
I love where this is going. Yes.
Yeah, and then you start looking for a domain name. Yeah. And you add the fact that we were broke and like couldn't afford a domain name from a squatter. So PandaDoc is one that was available, and we thought, well, everybody loves pandas. Pandas are black and white, just like documents. Yeah. There we go. Boom. Nice, beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
After that, we came up with a marketing story, which is pandas endangered due to deforestation. We help the world to go paperless, thus saving more trees for the pandas.
Oh, that's the marketing story, right?
That's the marketing story. Yeah,
okay.
That's the marketing story.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to tell me, well, one day my co-founder having a lunch at Panda Express, we thought, hey, you know what? That's what happens. Boom, here's a name. Like, but it's close to that. It's close to that.
Close to that. It's pretty close to that.
I love that. So, and then do you know, but in the beginning, what were you doing pay advertising? Were you doing organic? Like, how did you get the first group of like users? Like I said, the first.
With PandaDoc, it was a mix of direct selling and inbound marketing.
Okay. Direct selling, like you're just doing outbound?
Yeah, outbound into the contacts that I had contact with before. Okay. Customers of the product that preceded PandaDoc, and some of our web development, web design customers.
Okay.
Not entirely cold.
Warm, kind of like they kind of
warm, warmish.
Okay, yeah.
And then inbound marketing.
Interesting.
We've got ourselves into every launch website. Like there were websites that promoted startups that launch and software products that launch.
Yeah.
We got ourselves into every one of those imaginable, and we did SEO. We did some SEM.
Okay.
We've done some PR.
Okay.
And then slowly but sure, we've built a lot of integrations with companies that already had customers, and nudged them to promote us.
Was there one promotion with one of these like kind of strategic partners that's really worked, or was it like kind of a little bit of from everybody?
There's nothing I can think of that gave us a hell of a boost. There were some partnerships that were effective, particularly CRM partnerships, because in a way our product extends CRM systems.
Yes.
Most of the people that use our software in sales.
Yes.
But yeah, like popular CRMs were effective and also very helpful, because I think we naturally add to their value proposition and help their software offerings to be more robust, more complete. But there wasn't one thing, like, I don't know, someone famous tweeted, and then all of a sudden we woke up, you know, with a huge customer base. It was just like, you know, little by little, the customer base grew.
And through the different stages of growth, do you find that maybe from maybe 0 to 10 employees or 10 to 50 employees, like what was that journey like? Because I mean, with you and the co-founder, you are kind of the developers, is your vision, but before that you had no experience running a company this size, right? So for my audience, your entrepreneurs, like what advice would you have for them growing from a small company to a bigger company to now where you are now with like customers all over the world? Like what advice would you have for them in terms of scaling the team and scaling the business?
Advice. I have a warning that if you are as bad of a manager as I was, then you're gonna have a lot of pain and a lot of fun, but also a lot of learning. I'd say growing to 20 employees, there were a lot of challenges, but it was not crazy difficult. Growing from 20 to 100 was extremely painful.
In what way? Was it because of you didn't have like someone manager, a director, a C-suite managing it? Were you trying to do it on your own? What was that like?
I think the core reason is because I didn't know what I'm doing, and I didn't know how to manage. Small team, like when you are within a small team, I feel like you can get by with your charisma, and everyone knows everyone, and there's this family vibe and feel and so on and so forth. But as the company scales, there's a need to think of things like culture, like career pathing, processes, promotions, teams, and so on and so forth. And I had no clue what they should be like, and how do you do that, and so on and so forth. So I think yeah, like frankly, I've gone through a lot of transformation and learning and pain that came along with it as we grew to more than 100 people. Then I think beyond that, I was fortunate to find and bring on a fantastic team of executives that I now rely on that help to run the company. But finding the right people that you can rely on it takes a long time. And
what do you look for in your executive team? Like, how do you know they're good, they're not good?
Yeah, at some point, my co-founder and I, as we were going through a lot of pain, we got together and thought, like, okay, this isn't working, and we like it's our problem. We're likely the reason. Let's try to figure out. Let's take a few steps back and try to figure out why are we doing what we're doing.
I love that.
And you start a business to gain some financial independence and so on and so forth. But like, there's so much more beyond that, right? Yes. And what's more? What's that? Like, why do we work 16 hours a day? Like, why? What are we trying to achieve? So we started there and thought of 3 things that we deeply care about that we really want to get out of this effort. And those 3 things were we wanted to learn, and we wanted to teach people what we learned. We wanted to make a positive impact. We wanted to do good, and we wanted to have fun along the way. So those became our core values. And as we hired people moving forward, we were trying to align on these 3 values so that there are no surprises for anyone joining the team down the line. Then we've written down the traits that we appreciate, traits of people we love to work with, and the opposite traits, the traits that make it difficult to make something happen. We basically created a table and then used that table to keep each other honest, because we're people, right?
Yes.
We aspire to be someone or something, but the reality is always there's a deviation, right? So we use a table to keep ourselves honest, but then also use that as we recruit, as we promote, and that, I think, helped us along the way. So there's a list of traits we're seeking for in people, and that's. You asked me what is that you're looking for. I gave you a very long answer without.
No, but I like that. It's culture.
What that is.
The characteristics. I get it. Yes.
Yeah.
And then do you have the same executive team when you were at, let's say, 100 employees versus now 500? Is it the same executive team, or you have changed quite a few people?
The executive team that we have today is the same team that scaled the company, maybe not from 100 employees, but likely from the 200 mark.
Got it.
And it keeps growing, and I think
how many executives do you have now on the team?
8.
8,
if I'm not mistaken.
And they are COO, CFO.
We have a CTO, we have a CFO, we have a CRO, and then we have a VP of HR, VP of marketing, VP of sales, VP of customer success.
Got it.
VP of engineering, and VP of product.
Got it. And do you?
That eight, or is my math really bad?
No,
Oh,
that's
it's
good.
10.
That's good.
I'm sorry. My math is bad.
That's good. So for someone, let's say, growing to that level, I want to get a little technical. How do you retain your executives and talents and also your team members, right? In terms of like compensations, you give them stock options. Like, how do you give them a very good base and bonuses? Like, how do you structure your compensation?
Yeah, we believe in sharing the ownership of the company, because we think that that's one of the ways to make a positive impact. If we do extremely well and like at some point there is a liquidity event and a lot of people do well for themselves, then that's awesome. That's great. That's an impact. So not just the executives, but the employees at PandaDoc. Most of the employees at PandaDoc do have stock options, and that stock is vested, and we basically try to replicate what's I think considered as the best practice here in Silicon Valley, and do that around the globe, not just San Francisco office, but in all of the offices that we have.
Are most of employees based in US, or you have like contractors, or you have like employees around the world?
We have employees around the world, and that was another thing that we always wanted to have. We don't think that innovation and learning and impact should be limited to just kind of like one place,
one city
on the map, or one city. We have employees in Manila, Philippines. We have employees in Minsk, Belarus. We have employees in Kiev, Ukraine. We have employees in Lisbon, Portugal. St. Petersburg, Florida. That's our biggest U.S. office, and also San Francisco.
Now, many businesses use PandaDoc. I'm curious, what kind of software PandaDoc uses to run your business? What are some of your top, let's say, 6 or 7 to run a team that size?
Let's see. We are on Google Apps for email.
Okay.
We are on Salesforce for our CRM.
Okay.
We are on HubSpot for our inbound marketing.
Interesting.
We're on Zoom for our calls,
yeah.
Which is what we're using right now, I believe. We're on Lattice on our, I guess you call it performance management. I don't know, or culture. Like tracking. One-on-ones management. I don't know what the category is.
What do you use for project management?
What do we use for project management? Oh, a lot of things. It depends on the team and like their system of choice. So it's Jira in engineering. It is it is something else, and it's not quite of a project management, but the product you use is Coda. It is something else in customer success and so on and so forth. I don't even know.
Awesome. And then, do you have what's your day-to-day like now today? Like, what do you focus on as kind of the captain of the ship?
Yeah, documents, presentations, one-on-ones, calls with wonderful folks like yourself. Fundraising is mostly coming up with ideas and then selling those ideas internally, externally, with whoever is ready to listen, is open to listen.
With your team, and what's your relationship with your co-founder? Like, it's one of you the visionary, another one the integrator. Like you guys work together. What's that like?
I wouldn't divide us as, I'm the visionary and he's the integrator. No, my co-founder is a visionary, and historically, each one of us focused one on product and the other one on the business. But those lines got really blurry over the course of the last few years. And while we're very, very different, my co-founder is very empathetic, for instance, and I am a very, very warm person. Like, I love my co-founder, and I'm more of a salesperson. I'm more of a an extrovert who basically goes out and talks to people and tries to get something valuable for the company. I don't know, but we've been working together we've known each other for 15 years. We played in the same band. It was drums, I was bass, and we lived in the same house in San Francisco when the money was tight.
Yes.
Along with our families.
Yes.
And what's the relationship like? We're friends. We're co-founders. We challenge each other. We help each other.
Was there a moment that you look at each other and said, you know what, this is going to be big? Like, when was that moment? Like, you felt like, okay, this is not just a little software. Now we are building something significant that will impact the world.
We're fortunate in a way that big, like I would say, big was not that big compared to where we are today when we started.
Yes.
So that moment, it was, like, you look at the horizon and you think, oh my God, this is going to be big. Look at the horizon. And then you move forward, and then again, the same kind of realization comes, because the horizon now is different. It's more picturesque, or you can see through a little better. So that moment, we had that moment numerous times, and I hope we're gonna continue having that moment.
If you were to give let's say a SaaS founder, because most software companies don't make it, right? Most software companies, they kind of crash and burn. Like, if you were to give other founders any kind of advice, what got PandaDoc to where you are today, what would you say to them?
Oh man, what kind of advice can I give?
How can they be like? How can I build something like you, right?
Enjoy a lot of pain and
and lots of coffee. Lots of coffee, is that what it is?
But you know what? Just keep learning, stay humble, and try to enjoy the ride, no matter how things are, whether the things are good or bad. Try to enjoy the ride. That's the most important thing.
Let me ask the question a different way. PandaDoc today, what percentage would you say is luck, and what percentage would you say is hard work?
Oh, I don't know. A lot of it is luck. I mean, you need to work hard in order to have a chance to get lucky, right? But then you should, luck is definitely a part of it. A lot of people work hard, but when you add luck on top of that, then magical things happen. So I don't think about it in the percentage kind of points. I think about it that, like, hard work is a foundation, and then luck is the structure that gets built on top.
Yes. So working hard, if working hard enough, then opportunities, because you pivot quite a few times. If you didn't even start the first one, you would not even pivot to, to PandaDoc today, right?
Maybe. Maybe. And looking back, there was not kind of one event or moment that changed everything. But again, we have gotten lucky, very fortunate, many times.
Where do you see the landscape in terms of where things are going, document, like workflow from your perspective as the CEO, like just out there in the marketplace? What's happening in the future, you think?
What's happening in the future? In the future, we're not going to be printing things out, I hope. And I hope that future is going to come soon. We're not going to be printing things out. We're going to be more and more relying on those things, on cell phones, I guess mobile devices, and that's that future is actually that's not the future. It's here, right? I think that more and more of the commerce is going to transition to the devices that surround us. For better or for worse, we won't have to be meeting people that we do business with, and the speed at which things happen. Every year it's going to double and double and double and double. So what's going to happen to documents? I think there will be a lot of or deals and documents that support the deals. I think that a lot of transactions will be standardized, and therefore, again, the speed of deals, the speed of transactions is going to continue to accelerate. Things will get faster, things will get simpler, things will get more straightforward, and we hope to find our niche throughout this process as a platform that facilitates and accelerates all of that.
Awesome. For our last question for our listeners or viewers who maybe are not familiar with PandaDoc, right? If they want to find out more, if they're business owners, what's the best way to do that? And maybe give them a little bit of reason why they should use PandaDoc.
Sure. It's best to go to www.pandadoc.com. PandaDoc is a software that helps dozens of thousands of businesses to streamline their work with contracts, forms, proposals, quotes, and other transactional documents. We allow you to generate those documents quickly out of your CRMs and ERPs, collaborate with the recipients, perhaps buyers, get those documents signed electronically with legally binding electronic signatures, and so on and so forth. We take care of your documents.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being on the show and sharing the PandaDoc story with us. And I particularly love the story, how you actually came up with the name. Like, actually, that is very creative. We should create a whole list of animal names and, hey, lion, tiger, and just kind of go through those. It's awesome. I love that. But I appreciate you, and thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you, Dan.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.